Welcome to a fun-filled edition of Comet Algebra. This video is for Algebra 1, Chapter 8, Section 1, Products and Powers. So we begin our chapter on exponents, and this is a bit of a review. You have seen this before, both in pre-algebra and in an earlier chapter, but we're going to go over it again. It is vitally important, and we all need our memory refreshed a little bit. So this first property, they call it the product property. I usually call this multiplying like bases. And in words right here, to multiply like bases, you add exponents. So x to the a times x to the b equals x to the a plus b. Okay, you know this. Second property here is called the power property, which I call, in class you've heard me say, a power to a power. And we learned that when we raise a power to a power, we multiply exponents. So x to the a raised to the b power is x to the a times b. Now let's go through several examples. We notice in example 1, all of these are like bases, so we know that we're going to be adding exponents. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9, so therefore this becomes x to the 9th power. You multiply the coefficients just like you always have. 2 times 5 is still 10. Y times y squared is y to the 3rd. Here we have a power to a power, so this is c to the 7th times itself 5 times, which becomes c to the 35th power. Here in example 4, we have a negative times a negative, which is a positive 54, and x to the 8th times x squared is x to the 10th. In example 5, we have a's and b's, and even if they're a little mixed up, we know that multiplication is commutative, so I can just move this a and b, and we can switch places. So in my mind, I'm seeing this as a to the 3rd times a to the 4th times b to the 5th times b to the 4th. Now, you usually don't write out this step, but I wanted you to know what it is that you're doing. So this becomes a to the 7th, b to the 9th. In example 6, we have a positive 4 times a negative 3, which is a negative 12. We have x to the 1st. Remember, when there is no exponent, there is a power of 1. So x to the 1st times x to the 4th is x to the 5th. And now with the y's, y squared times y to the 6th is y to the 8th. And z times z is z squared. In example 7, we have this entire parentheses being raised to the 5th power. That means each little factor in here is raised to the 5th power. When you see this negative sign, I'd like you to picture this as a negative 1. And negative 1 to the 5th power is negative 1, so we're going to keep that negative sign. A squared to the 5th is a to the 10th. B cubed to the 5th is b to the 15th, and c to the 4th raised to the 5th power is c to the 20th. In example 8, we have two things going on. We have some power to a power, and we're multiplying like bases, and of course in PEMDAS we take care of this exponent first. So we're going to leave this 6m to the 7th n squared alone for a minute and raise everything inside this parenthesis to the 3rd power. 2 to the 3rd, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. This m is being raised to the 3rd power. And this n to the 3rd becomes n to the 9th. So now that I've taken care of this exponent, now I can go ahead and multiply. 6 times 8 is 48. m7, m3 is m to the 10th. n2, n to the 9th is n to the 11th. Likewise, in problem 9, we have this entire parenthesis being squared, so we need to do that first. Negative 5 squared is 25. to the 18th, y to the 8th. And now I'm multiplying that by 7x cubed y. So I end up with, let's see, 25 times 7 is 175, x to the 21st power, and y to the 9th. All right, this last example, just to remind you kind of expanded form, what that looks like when these are all expanded. Let's put these bases together. So I still just have the only number of 3. A times a is a squared. B is being written times itself 4 times. That's b to the 4th. And now let's do the same thing here with the c's. This becomes c to the 3rd. And now that I've put all these bases together, I have like terms. So this can actually be subtracted. 3 of these take away 1 of these is 2 of these long terms. So I have 2a squared b to the 4th c to the 3rd. All right, now you have the knowledge you need for section 8.1. So have fun with math.